The mouth burn is one thing, but the lip burn is another.
Welcome to the Army Materiel Command Media Center studio. I'm Kim Hansen from Public and Congressional Affairs, and I'm seated here today with Lieutenant General Chris Mohan, the Deputy Commanding General of Army Materiel Command and Acting Commander for the last 18 months. So, sir, thank you for joining us today and for sitting down to give us your vision of what the state of AMC is.
Yeah, so I'm really excited to be here, I think.
Yes.
And I would, for the record, I love wings. If you ask my family, I'm a wings guy. But I'm not sure what spectrum of wings I'm a fan of. But look, I really appreciate the opportunity to not only talk to you, Kim, but also talk to our teammates who are out there actually doing the work that we talk about a lot.
That's right, sir. Yeah. So we're going to have a little fun today because we think you're fun, sir. So we're going to have a little fun.
Well, what she said
today.
was that she said that these past interviews have been boring. And so we don't want to be boring. What we want to do is just kind of mix it up a little bit because with the Army, what I tell people, particularly junior people, is the Army asks a lot of you. And if you're not having fun while you're in the Army, I think you're missing out on a lot of what this experience is. And so this is what we're,
That's right.
I'm all in.
We're going to build some more camaraderie today, sir. So we are, segment one's going to be Hot Ones Inspired. So if you've not seen the show Hot Ones, it's hot questions and even hotter wings. Okay. So we will eat a progressively warmer, spicier hot wing as I ask you some pretty challenging questions.
Okay.
Segment two, we'll get into a little bit more serious questions, so we'll reset a little bit for that. And then we're going to close up with some fun. So for all our viewers out there, stay tuned. You're not going to want to miss the end.
Yeah.
So.
Hey, look, and the format is going to be, challenging, but also really serious questions to talk about. Look, we are consequential times for our Army and our nation, and we're carrying our teammates here in Army Materiel Command are carrying a heavy load. And so these are important subjects. We're just trying to mix up the format a little bit to make it more, make it easier to consume, no pun intended.
All right. You ready to jump in?
Yeah, let's go.
All right. So wing one, Hot Ones Inspired.
Yeah.
It's their classic.
Okay.
Everybody says it's just pretty tasty.
Okay.
Let's give it a go, and then
All
I'll
right.
ask you your first question.
All right.
Cheers.
Cheers. Okay. Not bad.
Not bad.
Not hot.
I don't think so either.
Mm.
Okay. I got to take smaller bites.
And it says 2 of 10.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We can do with that. Okay. So you assumed duties as DCG in December of 2022, and then as acting commander in March 2024, just about 18 months ago.
Yeah.
How has the command changed during some pretty, like you said, consequential times? And generally, what are your thoughts on the state of AMC?
Yeah, I think that how the command has changed is that we've worked really, really hard to articulate and to deliver sustainment at the tactical point, at the tactical edge, and that is something that we've been working really hard, and we've had some true successes in it, which has allowed us to compete and get more resources for the things that are really important for Army. And so I think that would be my big focus is how do we make sure that we remain connected to the tactical edge?
Yeah. Okay. Ready for wing two?
Yep, let's go.
Okay. Wing two, this one has some honey flavors to it, but a little bit spicier, I've heard. Oh yeah, a little habanero kick there.
Yeah.
Oh, but tasty.
Mm-hmm. That's a really good wing.
I might have sauced yours more than mine. I'm glad I did. Okay.
Not bad. It's good.
All right. So in 2019, AMC assumed command of Medical Logistics, Installation Management Command, and Financial Management Command. Talk about the structural change and the impacts of that reorganization 6 years later.
Yeah, so I would say that we're not done yet. And as we've brought on each one of those, for example, our biggest challenge has been MCOM. I was here as the 3 when MCOM came to us at the height of the housing crisis, and I openly say this: I was notified by then General Perna on the 14th of February, and I called it the Valentine's Day Massacre because it set off a chain reaction of just really hard work, and it started out with trying to see ourselves. And so I think right now we can see ourselves. But what we see in the MCOM space in a lot of cases is things that we don't like. And it's not because of MCOM, it's because of Army processes. And so the first thing I would tell you that I don't like is how much it costs and how long it takes to build things. And so we're working to change that. And that is enabled by MCOM, but directly working with the Corps of Engineers to change the way that we build things in our Army. And we're having some successes. Yesterday, I met with Icon. They're 3D printing buildings.
Mm-hmm.
And so I see a future where we're going to incorporate new technology. So that's one. The second one is Medical Logistics Command. As a career sustainer, I have always been frustrated by the medical community that says, hey, the first thing they'll say is that, well, we manage blood and blood is different. No, it's not. It's a class of supply with special handling characteristics. The Army I came in, the Army Ordnance Corps managed all the Army's nuclear weapons. I think that there's probably a parity of seriousness there, and we never lost one. And so now what we're doing is bringing the medical command, logistics command, into the fold and making medical supplies another class of supply that needs to be managed on the battlefield. And we've had some successes with that. A multi-class SSA where the soldiers are managing not only medical, but also repair parts, et cetera, et cetera. So we've had some successes. Financial Management Command, that's the one I'm probably the least experienced with. But what I'll tell you is the future that I see is much more self-service, much more app-like. When's the last time you went to a bank, Kim?
Years, sir. It's been absolute years.
I went to one to get a new credit card or a new debit card because mine cracked, and I happened to be in the Pentagon, and they were able to make it. Other than that, I never go. So why do we make soldiers go to finance? And so that's the way we have to think. You're still going to have all the backside support of the financial management expertise and the big finance, like when they move millions of dollars around. But for soldier interface, I think we got to get to a different way, and we've enabled that with things like MAPA,
right?
You know, where we've started to establish the platform for that self-service type, thing in the future.
Digitizing it. So just for the sustainment enterprise, before we move on, we talk about sort of core capabilities and then enabling commands. Is that how you see AMCs, 10
Absolutely.
MSCs?
And then also, are we sustainers or are we logisticians or sustainers? I refer to myself as a sustainer. That I think that we have come too far to go back to our own little stovepipes. And I spend about in this headquarters and with our MSCs, a significant amount of time, I'm not going to put a percentage on it, of trying to break down stovepipes. And it's in every conversation of trying to connect. And I think that's what commanders at Echelon do, is try to connect the dots. And I think that is something that I should be focused on, to break down stovepipes so we're talking back and forth and crossways to each other.
Okay.
All right.
Ready for 3?
Yeah.
I hear this is quite a jump. So
ghost pepper wing sauce.
Ghost
pepper, folks. Yeah. Ghost peppers.
So in hot ones, there's 10. We're going to condense this down to 5.
Okay.
So I had to make the significant jump earlier.
That's not too bad.
It hits a little late.
Okay.
It hits a little late, but you're doing well.
Coming on.
Okay.
That's not bad.
We do have milk, chocolate milk for me because I'm a child when it comes to milk. I'm going in. Okay, with the scope of responsibilities that fall under AMC, how do you categorize our focus areas? What are we focused on? We talked about lines of effort. Where are we now? What are our focus areas?
For me, it's 2 big chunks: delivering ready combat formations and enhancing the soldier experience. Where does that come from? It's what my boss told me to do. And so as we look to as we look to future capability, it's we hang those, and I use that to communicate. So I'm going to go to Fort Leavenworth tomorrow, where I will talk about, hey, here are the things to those former or future commanders. Hey, here are the things in delivering ready combat formations that we're doing for the Army. Here's your piece of it. Right. And then also, hey, here's how we're trying to enhance that soldier experience. Getting back to the point of, hey, we have a volunteer Army. We have to fight to keep that kind of talent in, and quality of life are big things. And it's not just quality of life, your housing, your barracks, but it's also where you work. the things that you have. Why do we carry around mountains of paper to do inventories? That's so 1970s call. They want they want their inventories back. It's and so we're changing that stuff. And so I communicate in those two big buckets.
Yeah. What kind of things do you, just 2 or 3 in each that you put in delivering ready combat
operational
formations?
readiness program, or our ORP program,
Which we'll talk
where
about.
we have changed the format of, we used to talk in fleet readiness. Now we talk in unit-based readiness, because I don't need to sell that to the Army. I need General Pappas and General Roan and General Admiral to sell that. And they have, because of the output that we have achieved with our depot artisans, our teams of analysts. The results, we got $300 million more of depot maintenance funding for next year. We stopped the slide. For years, we have been constantly being cut, but because we changed the narrative and are delivering, we got $300 million more, which is going to allow us to do 3 more iterations of operational readiness program. And to the field, we get a brigade, 1st Brigade, 1st Infantry Division, our pilot brigade, that is now sitting in Europe at unprecedented readiness levels because of the work that we have done with that unit.
Yeah, it's impressive.
Yep.
It's
and
good.
Then enhancing the soldier experience. I know we're going to talk about food, but property accountability, inventories. We have streamlined that process, taken from days down to hours, 50, 60% reduction in company commanders and supply sergeants' time. And now we're starting to roll that out to other units.
Yeah. We'll talk a little about this a little bit later, but I'm curious about why you think it takes so long to make significant change in this Army. But we'll talk about that in a little bit.
One word, 2 words: policy and authorities.
Okay.
Policy and authority. I see it every day.
There might be a rapid fire question about that one.
I'm interested. You can get me started on that. Why do I not have the authority to make changes to gates? Why are we still building these monolithic entry control points where that is not where the risk is? Because there's a staff section in the Pentagon that says this is the policy and this is what you shall and shall not do. I don't live in that world.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
Nice.
Okay. So this is the point we're going to make a significant jump. We had the staff look through their pantries for this hot sauce. Find one from your home state, Carolina Reaper. So I'm told this is pretty intense.
Okay.
My lips are already burning. How you doing?
I'm good.
Okay, let's go in.
And should I say thanks, Bill Bigelow, up
Yes,
front?
you should.
Yeah, a fellow North Carolinian from Appalachian State University. Go Mountaineers.
Indeed. Okay. Here we go. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
You feel that one.
All right.
Sean Evans would tell you be careful around the eyes.
Mm-hmm. I'm not sweating yet, but.
Oh, my mouth is on fire. Okay. Let's dig in a bit more on equipment readiness.
All right, go ahead.
This was a priority of the Chief of Staff of the Army, and he tasked Army Materiel Command basically just to fix it.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about that challenge and what we did and where we're going now when it comes to especially excess equipment.
Yeah. And so for excess equipment, we've got too much in it. We're swimming in it. And so what we did, we streamlined the process for units to turn stuff in. And last year across our Army, our teammates gathered about 1 million different pieces. And again, now we put it through the funnel, right? So you get all this equipment up here. Now you put it through the funnel. Okay, one output of the funnel is, this is DLA, DS. It's going straight to disposition. We're working hard to do it right on site so we don't have to spend money to move it around. The next funnel is, it's going to go to another unit, cascading. And so we will take that equipment and start moving around individually. But at some point, we're going to get to the point where we're cascading fleets. And this is really hot, by the way.
I was wondering how you're doing over there. You feeling it?
Yes, yeah. So we're gonna start cascading fleets, and then at some point,
You're doing great.
at some point, we're going to start cascading fleets through depots and out to field units. And so what this has allowed us to do is really see ourselves better, and we have to be ready, because under continuous transformation, just this R-struck, we think that we're going to have to move about between 600 and 700,000 additional pieces of equipment this year. And in light of that, because again, value to our constituents, the American taxpayer, spending that right kind of money, we got about $500 million more of second destination transportation funding. So this is hot. So
Milk
that
if
we
you
can,
need it. Milk
yeah,
if you need it.
so that we can move that stuff more efficiently. And now layering on data. So I told the team at ASC just last week, if I see a single truck rolling down the highway with one generator on it, I'm going to chase them down because we cannot do business the way that we used to do. We have to bulk ship things. We have to put things on rail. We have to make the most efficient use of taxpayer funding.
Got it. Yeah, good. So we've heard a lot about these catchphrases R2O and R2E. So rapid removal of excess equipment and then rapid removal of OCIE, or rapid reduction of OCIE, organizational clothing and individual equipment.
Yeah.
So just talk about, so we talked broadly about what the intent was, but with those programs specifically.
Yeah, so the R2E piece is really about moving the big pieces of, class 7, et cetera. But the R2O, the same problem set that applies to units applies to individuals. We have far too much equipment out there that is legacy. And so we've worked a policy piece to allow us to dispose of me. Finally, I can officially dispose of my frac U, ACUs, the digital camouflage that was issued when I was a colonel maybe. But I've had to carry those things around. So we've made it easier so I can get rid of that. The other piece is that now we've rolled out an IT system to go along with it, an app, the SEAM app, so that unit leaders can go in. You can go in and say, hey, here's what's on my hand receipt. Unit leaders can go in and say, here's what's on Mohan's hand receipt, and why do you have all this excess stuff? And then we do our pilot. We've done it in a couple of different locations where we bring a team out that will assist in taking that stuff back, and then the stuff that's excess that we need to give to other soldiers, we take it and wash it through the system and send it back to warehouses for distribution. The whole overall end state is to skinny down the pile of equipment soldiers are carrying, because, oh, by the way, taxpayers, it costs you about $1 a pound to move one of me around to include all my excess field kit. And so you skinny down that pile, as well as redistribute equipment so that we don't have to go out and needlessly buy more new equipment. Right.
Okay, we've made it to the last wing, and this is a Bleian Heat. Supposed to be in the million Scoville level, so we'll see how this goes.
So for context, what is this one?
Also in the same range. It's in the same range, yes.
But hotter.
Yes. Yeah. Well, so some would say that this is actually hotter, so I'm giving you a little break on the end. But let me tell you why I'm giving you a little break on the end. So Hot Ones inspired, there's something called the last dab. And so if you're bold, you add one extra dab to your wing before we eat this one.
Okay, I'll do it.
There we go.
I'm starting a little sniffles. Just a little sniffles.
Here we go.
There we go.
I'm going to do it too, because I'm going to be
bold
bold
for
with
you and one dab for the airborne ranger in the sky, right?
There you go. Yes. Mine's going to be smaller than yours. All right. Last wing.
All right, let's go.
Set your mouth on fire for the day. Not been a bad idea.
Oh, yeah, it's got some kick to it.
Oh, it does. Oh, it comes on a little late too. Okay. Last topic.
The mouth burn is one thing, but the lip burn is another.
That's what continues on as you as you talk as well. But sir, you did great. So last question here, and it has to be food related because food. I would suspect that food has probably taken more of your focus than you ever would have expected that it would. But you're passionate about it. Yeah. I've heard you talk about it. I've heard you be passionate about it. Why is that? How do you feel about the progress we've made so far?
I think food is the great equalizer for us as human beings, we talk about it at our family. You think about family gatherings where you're all sitting around a table, the good, bad, the ugly. Everybody arguing about politics, or whatever. We're also in churches. Yeah. I grew up in a small town, and it's fun. It's the most basic thing, one of the most basic things we do as humans. And for us to not expect our soldiers to want to have some of that same stuff growing up. Quality food. It didn't have to be real fancy, but quality food where they can sit down and eat, and then a place where it doesn't look like a prison, where they can sit down and eat together and share a meal together. I think about some of the best memories I have in my career is eating on the range when it's pouring down rain, where you're sitting there eating with your soldiers, though, or shared meals with colleagues overseas in dining facilities where you had different kind of ethnic food, the Bosnian night or the Filipino night, or people say they make a big deal out of soul food. Hey, that's the food I grew up eating. That's Southern food, right? And so I think about that, and then I have looked over the past few years and realized that we've lost a lot of that in the Army. We've turned our head away from it because our soldiers have more disposable income, and I'm talking about the barracks soldiers. We've expected them to maintain the same eating patterns that we have maintained, even though I eat dinner every night after 7. As a general rule, we close our dining facilities at 6:30 or 7, 18:30 or 1900, and we've expected them to just kind of figure it out. And so we were swinging behind the pitch and failing them. And so we are on the cusp of totally changing that. We already have a groundswell of change that we've enabled in the field with food trucks, kiosks, bistros, et cetera. But now we're on the cusp of totally changing the model to allow a more professional, taking nothing away from our 92 Golfs. I love our Army cooks. As I remind people, you need to hug a cook because the morning baking shift usually starts about 03. And so go hug a cook. But we've given them too much. We put too much on their shoulders. So we want to bring in a professional model that mimics, but not that models, but not mimics campus style dining. And what I'm proud to say is that this has taken a couple years for us to get to this because of all that. Remember that policy and that authorities. But right now we have a team locked in a room going over the proposals for our new campus style dining contract, which we will award next month.
Okay.
And then it'll be ready to go. And I will be personally involved in the CEO of this company. I'm coming to see you because we got to talk about this because we got to get it right for the Army, which is going to fundamentally change the way that we feed our Army. You ask why or how? More options, at least five different meal stations in each dining facility, expanded hours, a registered dietitian on staff, a professional culinary certified cook, whatever, chef running the place, and devoid of 92 Golfs who will be working in other areas doing soldier training so that they can do field feeding, so they can survive on the modern lethal battlefield and all those pieces. And if they're in the dining facility, they're either eating or they're getting maybe some advanced skills,
right?
But totally changing the model. And we're on the cusp of doing that, like right now, award next month. And then it's ready to go.
I've heard you talk about too that, careful around the ice.
Yeah.
That your end state is that soldiers don't pass up dining facilities to
That's
go buy
right.
food elsewhere. Talk a bit about that.
So my opinion, when on a day-to-day basis, when our soldiers who are given a meal card drive by dining facilities and go off post to eat, I think that we have failed them. That's my belief. Now, and I'm talking about like Friday night or Saturday night, or hey, my buddies, hey, we want to go out to a wings place,
Yes.
And so
games on.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Go do that. That's part of being an adult. But when they pass up that benefit and that entitlement, every single day we fail them, and we're looking to change it. We want our dining facilities, our campus-style dining venues, with updated decor packages, places to plug your iPhone in, a place where you go in and you can choose to eat a burrito every single day if that's what you want to do, or a fresh salad bar or whatever. We want them to be like where they gather, and making it attractive for them to gather. And like I said, we're on the cusp of doing it, and it's been some hard work by me and a whole lot of other people who are down in the trenches just working this very complicated policy challenges, very complicated financial regulations that we've had to navigate around. But I'm excited. I'm really excited.
Great.
And hey, coming to Fort Bragg, North Carolina is the first one, and we're going to have a grand opening.
And I hate to extend this, but I just have to ask it because it's a standing question out there. Why not just give all soldiers BAS, their food entitlement?
Because
I know the answer.
our soldiers are soldier athletes, and all of our barracks are not equipped with cooking facilities. So we just give them their entitlement and say, hey, go live out of a microwave. I don't think that as a parent, I don't think that that's what they expect out of the Army.
Yeah.
And we have a moral obligation to give them the right. Now, look, they're adults, right? We expect them to carry a rifle, go eat a cheeseburger, right? We're not going to tell you don't go eat a cheeseburger, but we expect them to fuel themselves appropriately, and so we have to provide that.
Perfect. All right, so we've made it to the end. You did surprisingly well, and I only say surprisingly well. That one got you?
That was hot.
Because your enlisted aide said that you might struggle.
Yeah.
If I'm being honest.
Now, I like hot food.
That's what he said.
But when it's so hot that I get like the hiccups, then I'm in trouble.
We didn't
because
get hiccups today.
No. So
Okay.
it was hot. This one was the hottest one, I
Yeah.
think. Maybe it was the way it came on.
Well,
But it
thank
was
you,
good.
Bill
That was
Bigelow.
fun. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Again, there's and I'm going to tease. Coming up, we're going to do our a different model for doing the organizational day, and because what we want to do is we're going to do it here on campus. Because what we want is for people to get together and go hit a food truck and sit down outside and have a meal together.
Well, so as we wrap up this segment in Sean Evans Hot One style, we're going to roll out the red carpet for you. But in rolling out the red carpet for you, it's AMC's birthday today. And so we've got you a birthday cupcake to enjoy. And we're going to ask you, rather than tell the people what you got going on in your life, we're going to say, tell the people of AMC, what is your birthday wish for the command? So that camera, sir.
Yeah.
Let us
And
know
so
what you
my
got going on.
birthday wish of the command is that we navigate some of the turmoil, quite frankly, that we're going through right now, and out of the back end of it, we emerge as a much better and stronger headquarters that is focused on delivering ready combat formations and enhancing the soldier experience. And we can do it, but it's going to require us all to work together, and we have to constantly remind ourselves that there's 330 million Americans that are paying our salaries, and we have a moral obligation to deliver to them as well.
Awesome. All right.
So happy birthday.
Stay tuned for segment 2. Okay, welcome back to segment 2 of State of Army Materiel Command with Lieutenant General Chris Mohan, Deputy Commanding General and Acting Commander of AMC. Sir, thank you for
Very
joining
good to
me
be here.
again. Okay. Recovered?
Recovered?
Okay. All right. Let's get into a little bit more serious topics.
Yeah.
So we'll start with the Army senior leaders who've rolled out a bold new vision for the future of the Army, focused on continuous transformation. Broadly speaking, where does AMC fit in?
Yeah, I think we are a key enabling portion of the continuous transformation. I mean, look, we are being asked to accelerate some of our core focus areas and to change, quite frankly, change other things, and it's forcing us to constantly operate out of the box. And so, for example, advanced manufacturing, we've been tasked to expand our advanced manufacturing capability. And so that big policy, that big authority thing, I've said, okay, you want me to do this? I need the authorities to do this. And so a couple weeks ago at a visit at Rock Island, I gave the secretary a memo and said, hey, look, Mr. Secretary, I want you to sign this after we show you the way we do business, because we need to certify our own parts at the AMC level and not rely on outside agencies, which cost literally millions of dollars and significant time. And because I said, look, if you can't trust me to do it, one, you need to fire me. And I told him exactly like that. And if you can't trust us in AMC, who can you trust? And so he gave us that authority. And so today I will fly to an outside agency, National Institute for Aeronautics Research, who we just shipped an M88 to, and they're going to tear the entire thing apart, scan it, do digital simulations and modeling on the parts so we can rapidly do advanced manufacturing. And so that's where we fit in. We're going to be asked to do all the normal stuff that we do,
Yeah.
feed soldiers, repair parts, but then we're being asked to accelerate in several other venues, if you will.
So it feels like you spent a good amount of time with Army senior leaders of
Mhm.
late. What's their take
Too
on
much
how?
time in the Pentagon.
Some might say.
Yeah.
What's their take on how Army Materiel Command's performing?
We deliver.
And okay.
Absolutely.
And
That
the importance of
when
sustainment.
they give us challenges, and we've got some wicked problems we're working through, there is a confidence that when me or one of my teammates hits the mic, that they know it's a thoughtful, we're working hard, and that we're in it for the right things for the Army.
Yeah.
That's truly the way I believe.
Advanced manufacturing's at the forefront of like every conversation. You were just talking about that too. So, we stood up the Center of Excellence 6 years ago now. What kind of progress have we made, and are we advancing that further and
Slow at
faster?
first.
Okay.
Absolutely slow at first, and it's not the JMTC's fault because they had to, but they did have to reorganize for combat, if you will, and change the way that they do billing. So that we're more competitive, change the way that they monitor. And so instead of a person, now they build a machine center, because guess what the machine will do? 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, right? And some of the parts that we make, when you're 3D printing titanium, a part will take 4 or 5 days to print, depending upon the complexities of it. So that was the first thing. The second one is going after the policy and the authorities. We started, we said, okay, we know how to do reverse engineering. We know how to build things. Okay, what's the next, line stoppage, if you will, which was the approval process. And there was some very blunt conversations between me and other senior leaders, because I couldn't control the process that we were paying literally hundreds of millions of dollars on.
Yeah.
And so we're going to bring it in-house and do it ourselves.
Yeah, we would hear soldiers say, I've been 3D printing parts in my garage for
Oh yeah. I had
years.
a battalion commander from the PCC say, "Hey, tell us something we don't know, General. We've been 3D printing titanium in it, for years. You're missing the boat." And I know I'm not missing the boat, because you're not 3D printing titanium. You are not doing digital reverse engineering in your garage.
Right.
Sorry. So it's different.
Different scale.
Yeah, different scale. And so here's the results. Over the past 2 years, Rock Island Arsenal has increased their workload by about 40%.
Yeah.
They have not had a corresponding increase in overhead, so they're being more efficient. And then this past quarter, they hit well above 90% performance to promise, which is unheard of.
That is.
And they're doing it.
Yeah.
And so we're going to double down and give them the authority to do it faster, and give them the authority to take risk in parts. So we had a one size fits all.
Mm-hmm.
It's a water bottle, or it's the Jesus nut, as I call it, that holds the rotor blade on. It was one process for approval. So we're going to implement a risk-based
Nice.
process, because as one of their great engineers up there said, "Hey, look, why is it taking 18 months for us to get a door handle that we're printing approved? The door handle in the field's still broken.
Yeah.
Why? What's the risk if the door handle we're replacing is broken?"
Right.
And so it's a great point. And so we're going to control our own destiny so we can go faster.
Which leads really well into the next question. Talk about the organic industrial base, which of course Army Materiel Command manages.
Yeah.
Those 23 depots, arsenals, ammunition plants. Talk about your vision for the future state of the OIB, the organic industrial base.
And look, this is a really hard thing. And for those of you who don't know, I commanded Tooele Army Depot, one of the best assignments I had in my career. I've had a bunch of good ones. I learned so much, and I fell in love with the people. Maybe not the winter in Utah, but the people. And so I believe that I am well qualified to say the following things. We've got too much capability. We have made poor decisions about the way that we do workload. So, for example, why would we put a portion of the HIMARS launcher at Letterkenny, and then so we put the fire control system and the launcher in Letterkenny for maintenance, and then we put in Red River the wheels, the chassis and the wheels, even though we have the capability for that at Letterkenny. And so what we were forced to do is we ship stuff back and forth at great expense. Why would we do that? Because we were trying to always spread the workload to keep everybody just happy enough. And we can't live like this as we think about the future, the demands on the organic industrial base, and the fact that if we're not careful, we truly will become just one of those jobs program things that people talk about. And so we've made some, and it was me making some very hard decisions and recommendations, and we're following through with it because we're going to have to move some workload around to be more efficient, so that we can streamline our supply chain, so we can have a more diverse workforce, and so we can modernize, because we've spent a bunch of money modernizing, but we've been doing water lines and putting new roofs on. We need to modernize equipment and machinery. And so we're going to take this opportunity where we have the opportunity to take some of our old antiquated processes, like the way we make some types of ammunition, some of our other industrial processes. And instead of trying to do bolt-on modernization, we're just going to build a whole new line, that is a 20th century or 21st century state-of-the-art line, and then move the workload and the people. And those are going to be really hard decisions.
But you see opportunities for the OIB in the
Tons of
future as
opportunity. And we're able to compete. Look, we're between Tobyhanna and Rock Island, our two UAS manufacturing places. They're actually going to do a bid to an open source bid that the Army's putting out. And so instead of Mohan's UAS company, it's going to be the U.S. Army Industrial Base bidding on it because we can do it. And we have proven that we can do it. And because we've proven that we can do it, we're in the hunt for not only the bodies, the drone bodies. Hey, we do that all day long. Now we're buying a new piece of machinery that's going to take us from a couple hundred a month to 10,000 a month, which is cutting edge. And then we're doing circuit cards at Tobyhanna. But what we don't have in this country is the ability to manufacture motors and servos and miniature wiring harnesses. We've got a proposal on the table for about $60 million to allow us to insource that and build our own factory. And I think we're going to get that money.
So there's no scenario where you don't see us also making investments in the OIB to strengthen it.
It's ours to lose. It is ours to lose. And we have the groundswell because of other things that we've done, proving that we're engaged and we're making a difference at the tactical level, that's helping us do that.
So you've charged the command to lean into advanced analytics and artificial intelligence, otherwise known as A3I. Why is that important?
Because it's the future. It truly is. It's not the panacea, but it's going to make us more efficient, more and better. Some of you have heard me say this, that I've got 3 kids, 3 grandkids, and I remember when Google became a thing, right? And Google was, hey, just Google this, Google that, the Googler, whatever. My kids, they use ChatGPT like we use Google. And so I'm learning how to use ChatGPT to do stuff like, as I told some of you guys the other day that we're going to build our retirement home soon. And we're looking at different house plans, and there's negotiation that goes along with that in the household. And so I've got one plan, Cindy's got another one. We like pieces of it. And I'm talking to my son's girlfriend about it. And she said, just put it into ChatGPT. Screenshot. Hey, make me a new house plan that incorporates this, and this. And in about 30 seconds, it did it. I mean, and so we have to think like that in this. Look, we've got places in this headquarters where we have taken processes, and also in our MSCs, where we've taken processes that would take a teammate 40 hours to do, and it does it in 2 minutes now. And so instead of just trying to keep up, we have time to do what humans do, which is to sit back and make smart decisions and put the pieces together, because the machine, in a lot of cases, will run its own value stream or stovepipe. Humans need to sit there and think about the human dynamic of how these things. Who do I have to talk to do this, and who's going to help me connect the dots? That's what we need to specialize in, if you will.
Analyze the data that's coming out.
That's
Second
right.
and third order effects.
That's right.
Execute it.
That's right.
So,
And we can see further down in the supply chain because of the power of the machine that we've just not been able to do.
yeah.
I mean, we can tell you where our delinquent suppliers are, second and third tier, all the way down to where the company is, who the CEO is, and that's unheard of.
So that's actually what I was going to ask about next is where do you feel like the sustainment community is in leveraging A3I?
Yeah, I think that we are rapidly, um, we are ahead of anybody in the Army.
Good.
Period, hands down. Some of my peers have said, "Hey, look, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. You need to get some of this, Chris, and talk to them about this." I'm like, "Yeah, actually, we've been doing this for about 2 years now, and so we're ahead of the Army. But because we operate in that seam between the strategic business systems and the tactical Army, sometimes we go unnoticed because we're not the bright shiny object." But what people see when they realize what we're doing is like, holy crap, you are ahead of everybody. We're driving the building on contracting. We're driving the building on the right kind of software capability to buy, and we have to get better at it, and then we have to trust it. Whenever I have vendors come see me, a lot of them do, and they always have the, "Hey, look at this. We can show you this. We can show you that." I'm like, "Hey, so what at the end state? What comes out of the back end? What does it help us do?"
Right.
And if you can't tell me that, I'm not really interested.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had one company that I've met with like 5 times, and we finally got to a point where they're picking up what I'm putting down and say, "Hey, look, tell me, what is this going to make us do better?"
Right.
And but that's hard work.
Yeah.
That's hard work.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I feel like we barely scratched the surface of AMC's initiatives, but we talked advanced manufacturing, A3I, OIB, food, a lot of the delivering ready combat formations and the soldier experience. But then there's things like contracting and formulary sales and financial management, and installation management, housing and barracks, and all these things.
Yeah.
It's a lot to do.
Yeah.
And, again, we barely scratched the surface. That's on top of expected reductions,
Oh, absolutely.
both to our budget and our workforce. How do we get there?
Yeah, I turn on the TV and watch. I mean, the pressures are real, and I think that it's ruthless scrutiny of requirements. It is questioning everything of why are we doing this if I can't see it, of what the end state is. Why are we doing this function, this thing? And then just embracing the reality that look, we're $36 trillion in debt. I've got a different outlook now. I've got grandkids. Are we going to do something about that as a nation? I mean, you can't do that at your house. I mean, I guess you could do it for about a year, and then then you wouldn't have food to put on the table. So we got to make some really hard choices, and they are hard, and it affects. Hey, believe me, it affects everybody, to include myself. And so we have to embrace the fact that we are doing this for the good of the nation. We're doing this. Our Army is a bulkhead of stability in our nation, and we've got to do this.
Yeah. So we talked earlier about change is hard. Change is hard.
Really hard.
And I feel your passion in wanting to make the right kind of change.
Yeah.
But
it's hard. It is hard because not only look, sometimes we have a hard time telling people to move their cubicles.
Yeah.
And we got to get past that and think about, again, what do we want the command to look like when we come out of the back end of this? We're going to be leaner. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But what we can't be is leaner and less effective. We have to be leaner and maintain the same effectiveness and to the next level. And we can do that if we incorporate data analytics, we incorporate advanced technology, and we go after some of the stupid policies that have been forced on us, and we have to challenge them.
And to the people who say it's always brief swell to do more with less, but we really need to, talk about how are you when somebody approaches you with hey, we have to stop doing this.
Hey, I'm like, put it up against the wall and let's stop doing it, and then see what happens. And I've seen the same. Look, if you ask my team, I'm like, I don't need this product. It'll be multiple iterations where I get the same product, and it has taken me to be very, very blunt with people to say, no, don't bring it to me anymore, because the machine just and that's our country. That's a bureaucracy, right? There's some really good things about a bureaucracy. There's also some danger to a bureaucracy, because it just you become numb to it. And so we have to challenge every single one of those things, and just and acknowledge the fact that we are changing. We are absolutely changing. And if you don't change, you just get run over. And I cannot sit here and say that I'm going to allow that to happen. Force hard decisions from the building, force them to accept the reality of what they're doing, 100%. 100%. But not change, not doing it.
That's perfect wrap for segment 2. Let's have some fun in segment 3. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
All right.
Welcome back to the State of the Army Materiel Command with Lieutenant General Chris Mohan. All right, sir, final segment. We're going to have a little bit more fun. It's been said that you're a pretty quick thinker, that you are quick on your feet. Yeah. So we're going to test that out today. Okay?
Yeah. Okay.
I've got 20 questions for you. We're going to see how many you can get through in 2 minutes. Some are easy one-word answers. Some you might want to expand on just a little, but I'd be cautious not to do too
I am
much.
from the South, right?
Yes.
And I've been accused of being a slow-talking Southerner before.
Oh, but there's also fast-talking Southerners.
Yeah, okay.
I have confidence in you.
Okay.
I think we're going to get there.
All right, 20.
All right, 20 questions.
2 minutes.
2 minutes.
I can do 20 push-ups in 2 minutes.
Can you?
Yeah.
That's good.
If I can't, time for me to go to the house.
To practice that with Chef Irvine the other day, he did a whole push-up contest with a couple folks at Fort Jackson.
Yeah.
He won.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, sir. You ready?
Yep.
All right. Let's give this a go. We got our timer here.
Yeah. Ready.
And let's go. If Army logistics were a sauce, would it be mild, medium, or kick your supply chain hot?
Kick your supply chain hot.
Which is more intimidating, swarming bees from your beehives or testifying in front of Congress?
Testifying in front of Congress.
Single greatest opportunity for AMC in the next 5 years?
Expansion into PACOM.
Best duty station?
Fort Bragg, North Carolina, my home.
When chaos hits, what power anthem song plays in your head?
I would have to say Eye of the Tiger.
All right. Advanced manufacturing breakthrough in the near future that's going to have a global impact.
Digital engineering and digital modeling and simulation.
If AMC had a mascot, what would it be?
A mule, because we just carry it and get it done.
What's your spirit animal?
I would say a golden retriever.
Oh, okay. AMC initiative you wish you had when you were a captain?
Property accountability.
Navy or Air Force?
Neither.
One thing you think we need to focus on in the Indo-Pacific?
Preposition of supplies.
Biggest lesson learned out of Europe in the last few years?
If you don't have it there, it's hard to get it there.
If the OIB were a TV show, what would it be?
Sanford and Son.
Most helpful information on the My Army Post app?
Gate info.
One DoD or Army policy you'd change right now today?
It would be Randolph Shepard.
Okay.
And we're working on it. Favorite
sport and team?
I would say college football and the Appalachian State Mountaineers.
All right. Favorite book?
Once an Eagle.
Okay. Alternative construction or alternative energy like nuclear?
Both.
Choose your own adventure. Skydiving, bungee jumping, or something else?
Something else.
One word that describes the AMC workforce.
Dedicated.
You did great, sir.
Did we get it?
You did great. Just about. Maybe a second behind. I think that's pretty darn good.
Okay.
And I have both written on my card right now.
We got to do it all. We got to do it all.
I called it. All right, sir. You did great.
Yeah.
Quick thinker.
Yeah, thank you.
Quick thinker.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you. All right, so before we wrap it up, let's end it on a serious note.
Yeah.
I want to hear from you. What do you see ahead for our Army and for AMC?
Yeah. Hey, so I would say that if you ask me what, if I had a hole in our swing or what I thought our hole in our swing is, and I mentioned a little bit in the speed round, which was what we look like and where we should be positioned in Indo-PACOM. We've had a footprint in Korea since the Korean War. We've had a footprint in Hawaii for a long time, but not not a tremendous amount of time. But the distance between Hawaii and Korea is where the battle with China is going to be fought. And so over the next year, we're going to work really hard to try to wrap our hands around, hey, what is the, and here's the way if we go to Europe, Europe is really good for the Army. I know exactly where we're going to put capability. We have the Rhine River Valley, which is a heavy industrial manufacturing area. We have autobahns, we have massive airfields. We don't have any of that at least a handle on any of that in Indo-PACOM. And in Europe, oh, by the way, we have an alliance,
right,
which allows us to do things. Everything in Indo-PACOM is bilateral agreements. And so what is AMC's footprint? What are our requirements? And then what is our footprint? And then what are those things that we cannot afford to keep everything in CONUS, that we need to take the risk and put them in places so that we are prepared to support a clash with China, which I do believe is coming. I mean, we're just too incompatible as global superpowers. Their system of government and their system of population control is just too incompatible with us. And so that's where we need to spend some time thinking through. And I am going to head out there to Korea and Japan in the coming months to try to. I'm a visual learner. I need to be able to visualize it so I can understand it and talk to leaders on the ground. And the last thing I will tell you that, look, these are hard times, and these are hard times for our country and our Army. And we need every single one of you. And I am so proud to represent. I'd say this out loud. Look, I represent, when I introduce myself to crowds, I represent myself as the leader of the organization that is the blue collar workforce of the Army. That makes things happen, and stuff that our combatant commanders and our ASCC commanders, they don't even know how it happens, and because we're just doing the work. And so I'm incredibly proud and blessed to be able to represent. So I just want to say personally, thank you for all of your efforts. We're going to ask a lot more of you this coming year, and we're going to make some tough decisions because we have to. And I promise you, we will communicate as openly as possible as we continue to go down this journey that the country's asking us to do. So thank you. And thank you for your time.
Okay. I think we're going to end there, but I might ask just one final question. So 10 major subordinate commands that fall within AMC. Our headquarters is fortunate. We get to spend a lot of time with you. We get to hear from you somewhat frequently. But, those folks that are out there in Japan and Korea and in Poland and other places, also meant for them. So you kind of talked it right there. But how do you feel like the global AMC workforce is performing right now? And, kind of a final message.
It's knocking down targets. I mean, it never a day goes by that I don't see the global impact of what we're doing. Look, we just shipped a bunch of THAAD missiles from Anniston, Alabama, down to out to CENTCOM, and I saw a sit rep that said, "Hey, this ADA unit sent a CW2 who deployed with a moment's notice down to do this," and I just laughed because I was like, "We don't need that CW2. Love them, love warrant officers, but we know how to do this because we've done it time and time again." And all the way from here in Anniston, all the way forward to the very tactical edge, if you find a soldier on the battlefield or a soldier in an exercise, you look around, there's going to be an AMC there some way, and in some way, shape, or form, operating in the background a lot of times, just doing the work of the nation and making it happen. That's what I'm so proud about. I watch it in all the updates, and everybody's blah 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 blah, and I'm like, yep, you wouldn't do this if it weren't for us. Oh yeah, you wouldn't be able to do that. Oh yeah, we're there too. Yeah. And so I'm incredibly proud to be associated with it.
Awesome. All right, sir. So thank you so much for sitting down with us today to talk about Army Materiel Command and your vision for our organization. And to all of you, happy 63rd birthday to Army Materiel Command and happy 250th to the U.S. Army.